Stinky. Oh, the ice pack. Yes, it is very cold on my bottom. Let me fix the cushions here. Oh, no, it hurts. Oh, what's that? Oh, the poppets. Oh, hello, my little poppets, mums and dads. Oh, and welcome back to story time once again. Well, I'm afraid your dear Mrs. Wiffle Waffle is rather uncomfortable for story time today. What's that? It's not funny, Stinky. What's that? It is funny. Yes, well, it's not funny at all. It might be funny for you, but it's not funny for me. Stinky and I were out at my Aunt Madness's and Uncle Insane's farm. Yes, you've heard me mention them before because they have lots of wonderful animals out there and we like to go and visit them, and Stinky loves, of course, to feed the animals. Well, they've got a goat, a new goat, and Aunt Madness told me, she said, "Oh, Mrs. Wiffle Waffle, he's lovely, dear." She said, "Oh, give him a pat. He loves nothing more than a pat. Oh, he loves to be patted, doesn't he, Stinky?" Yes, that's what she said. So, of course, Stinky was patting the goat. He seemed to really like Stinky very, very much. And, of course, I put my face up against his and I rubbed all the top of his head and gave him a lovely pat. And what's that? He had a strange look in his eye. Yes, he did have a queer look in his eye. I did notice that. All of a sudden, he started snorting. Now, I had no idea that goats could do that. I thought only bulls could do that. And the next thing I knew, what's that? Yes, I'm about to get to that, Stinky. I was flying through the air at high speed and I landed in a thorn bush. So not only do I have a very sore bottom, I'm afraid to say, I'm covered in bruises and scratches because I landed in a thorn bush. What's that? It was very funny. Well, it's not funny for me, Stinky. I'm very, very uncomfortable. And yes, I don't think I'll be patting that goat again. What's that? He didn't like the look of my face. Why is that? Because of my makeup. Yes, well, I don't know. There was something about me that he didn't like. Anyway, I was flying through the air and I landed in a bush of thorns and I have a very sore behind. So I'm sitting on some cushions and an ice pack. Yes, well, hopefully I'll start to feel better soon. But I think I might remove the ice pack there. Yes, it's a little bit cold. Well, speaking of animals, my dear, dear poppets, I know of some other animals that actually like to use their head. We saw some elephants fighting at the zoo and they were pushing each other with the tops of their heads. Yes, lots of animals like to do that. It's a sort of defense, I think, Stinky. So speaking of animals, and not goats, but elephants, I'm happy to say today's story is called Elmer on Stilts. A very, very cute book, I have to say, and another book request. And I'm so happy that the dear poppets at home are requesting book requests because I do love them very, very much. And of course, this one is written by the wonderful David McKee, Elmer on Stilts. A very, very smashing book, I have to say. And this book request, Stinky, is for, who's the book request for, dear? Mitchell, that's right. This book request is for Mitchell. So I'm looking forward to reading this one very, very much. Yes, Elmer on Stilts. Well, I'm glad it's not about a goat. Yes, I've had enough of goats. I won't be patting that goat again in a hurry. Yes, he's got a terrible temper. And here we go, my dear poppets. One morning, Elmer, the patchwork elephant, met some of his friends. They were looking very worried. "Oh dear, Elmer," they said. "Those awful elephant hunters are coming. What can we do to escape them?" Said Elmer. "Let me have a think. I'm sure I can come up with something," he said, Stinky. Well, there's Elmer there, the very rainbow patchwork elephant there, and they're very, very worried because the hunters are on their way. What on earth are they going to do? Yes, they'll have to think of something, and hopefully they will. They'll come up with a solution. Elmer went for a thinking walk. Yes, they're good to go for. I do like that, Stinky. Yes, it's good to go for a thinking walk. He was thinking about how hunters look for elephant footprints and follow them until they find the elephants, when suddenly a voice said, "Look out, Elmer. Watch where you're going." A very tall giraffe was speaking to him. "Sorry," said Elmer. "I didn't see you up there. But you've just given me a very good idea." And he hurried off, Stinky, to find the other elephants. What's that? Yes, he's had an idea. I'm not sure what the idea is yet, but he's had a very good idea. Yes, he must be a very smart elephant, this Elmer, I think. I wonder what he's planning to do. I've an idea, said Elmer to the others. Let's walk around on stilts. Oh, on stilts, yes. This is no time for jokes, Elmer, said an elephant. The hunters are coming. I'm serious, said Elmer. Hunters look for us by following our footprints. They never look up and see us. Well, that's a true point, I suppose. Yes, elephants on stilts, my dear poppets. I wonder how on earth they will manage that. I don't know. They are very large animals, so seeing an elephant on stilts, yes, very, very tricky, I think. But perhaps they can do it. The elephants thought that Elmer's idea was a good one, Stinky, and were soon hard at work. Some made stilts from very strong wood. Other elephants bought tree trunks and made a ramp that the elephants could walk up to get onto the stilts. Well, there they are there, my dear poppets. Very, very busy, of course, hard at work, gathering all the bits and pieces that they need to make stilts. Perhaps that will fool the hunters because the hunters are always looking for elephant footprints, but they never think to look up. Yes, maybe that will work, I just don't know. Elmer went first. He walked up the ramp and using his front legs to hold on, he put his back legs onto the stilts. It's easy, he called. My trunk helps me to keep my balance. Well, there's Elmer there. He's the first one to try the stilts. And he seems to be managing it very, very well. So he's going to encourage the other elephants to do the same. Yes, elephants on stilts. What a sight that would be. Unfortunately, because Elmer was so heavy, the stilts immediately sank into the ground. Oh no, groaned the elephants. It won't work. I know, said Elmer. If we put flat pieces of wood on the bottom of the poles, the stilts won't sink into the ground. Well, look at them all there, Stinky, gathered around poor Elmer. No, it's not working. No, it's not working at all. So they're going to have to think of something else to do. And of course, Stinky, you're doing a wonderful job holding the pages. My special, special boy, you just do a wonderful job. You really do. Yes, it's such a help when you hold the pages like that. Then if we colour the stilts green, continued Elmer, the hunters will think they are plants. We can shape the flat bits like monsters' feet. If we put them on backwards as we walk, it will look like a monster's trail. But going in the opposite direction, the hunters will follow the footprints away from us to try and find the monsters. Ah, well, my dear poppets, Elmer and the other elephants think perhaps they can trick the hunters. They can make monster footprints and perhaps that will work. I just don't know. They are coming up with some very clever ideas. What a clever bunch of elephants they are, Stinky. Yes, it wasn't long before the elephants were walking on stilts, leaving a trail of prints pointing away from them. The more the hunters look, the further they will get away from us, chuckled Elmer. Well, there they are there. And they have made some wonderful footprints there, and perhaps that will fool the hunters. We're just going to have to wait and see. I hope that it does. Yes, one can only hope. There was one thing, however, that Elmer had forgotten. Elephant hunters are cowards. When they saw footprints, the hunters all said the same thing. Oh no, monsters! Then shaking with fear, they hurried off in the opposite direction, towards the elephants, and, well, there they are there, and the hunters, and they've spotted the monster footprints, and they're freaking out. They're shaking in their boots because they are quite terrified of monsters. Yes, but unfortunately, they've headed in the wrong direction. They're going towards where the elephants are. Crash! They didn't notice the stilts and bumped right into them. The elephants fell off, but instead of falling onto the hard ground, they fell onto the soft, round, fat hunters. Oh, the elephants came crashing down, Stinky, and they have fallen on top of the hunters. Well, serves those nasty hunters right. I suppose they weren't expecting that. Elephants falling from the sky, falling from the stilts. Yes, well, fancy that. One by one, Elmer and the elephants got up and walked away. dear, oh dear, they said. It was a long time before the hunters managed to crawl away moaning. They would never come back. Yes, well there they are there, the hunters. They're flat like pancakes, as you would be if an elephant fell on top of you. And they're not very happy, they're quite miserable. And at least it has given the elephants a chance to run away. Yes, well perhaps the Stilts, well they saved the day, didn't they? Hooray for Elmer, shouted the elephants. His idea saved us. Now we don't need the Stilts anymore. We don't need them, smiled Elmer, but we could have some fun on them, and that's exactly, Stinky, what they did. And look at them there, dear, all up there on their stilts. What's that? You'd like a pair of stilts? Yes, perhaps we could both have some stilts. Yes, Stinky and Mrs. Wiffle Waffle on stilts. What a sight that would be, I'd have to say. Yes, I might have to wait till I recover a bit though, before I start climbing up on stilts, Stinky. The end! And that was called Elmer on Stilts by David McKee. A wonderful, wonderful book, I have to say, and a book request for the dear little poppet Mitchell. And I hope, Mitchell, that you enjoyed that book request very much. Well, my dear, dear poppets, mums and dads, we have come to the end of story time once again. Yes, I know, it does go by very, very quickly, but I'm afraid we have to say goodbye. Perhaps you, my dear poppets, could pretend to be an elephant or a colourful rainbow elephant like Elmer, or you go walking about on stilts. But look out for the goats. And as always, my dear poppets, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.